Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we're going to be checking in for week 2 of October. I am a little late with this video, so I am going to try to just run through the second week of October check-in. You guys might notice that my layout is slightly different, the lighting is different. I ended up reorganizing the whole office. In general, I feel like we've been just reorganizing our whole entire house as well, and I've been feeling really good about it. It's just been really nice to get everything situated. Let's go ahead and dive right into the check-in. I am using an Erin Condren monthly planner. This is in the, I actually forgot what design this is. Oh, color blends. This is in the color blends design. This is my October setup. I did set up all of these spreads with you guys in previous videos. We have the savings tracker, our dashboard, our variable income, October budget, weekly check-in, weekly balance, transaction log, sinking funds, and then I do have to do our debt video, for our debt payment video for this month as well. I am going to go ahead and pull up our app. We are cashless budgeters. We don't use cash, or at least we try to avoid cash unless they don't take credit cards or there's like a fee or something like that with paying a credit card. But other than that, we always try to use our credit card. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the app that we always use. This is the daily budget app. I did briefly talk about the other apps a little bit more in the previous week's check-in, and I probably will of course be talking about it again and referencing them in future check-in videos. But since we are kind of on a time crunch for this one, I am going to just focus primarily on the daily budget app. We are checking in from the 8th to the 14th. So let's go ahead and scroll to the 8th. And if you guys know, I like to have different icons to symbolize different categories. So for example, we have eating out as a fork and knife. Sinking funds is this little home icon because I like to store everything here. Grocery cart for groceries, gas allowance. This app allows you to custom your own categories, your own icons as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and be pulling the transactions from here. I like to use an app because I always have my phone with me, especially since I a lot of times don't really carry a purse or anything with me. That's why it's very convenient for me to have everything in the app. And I also have been playing around with the Tracky app a little bit more from what I talked about last time with you guys. I ended up paying for the $5 for the full version of it, and I'm trying to play with it a little bit more. You can copy budgets and stuff in here. The only thing that I don't know if I like is you don't have like a center page where you can see all of the different categories spent on a specific day. You kind of have to go into each one to see what was spent on what day, but I'm still playing with it. Once I play with it a little bit more and get a better idea of it, I'll definitely catch up with you guys and fill you guys in on that application, because the one that I normally use for my electronic cash envelopes, the multi-budget, is still not available in the US. But meanwhile, going to the 8th, we did have a bunch of bills that came out for this week as well. So we are going to be checking in for those to make sure our checking accounts and everything is all balanced. On the 8th, we didn't spend anything. On the 9th, our Netflix came out for this day. And Netflix, I feel like we're always going to have Netflix, but that was our Netflix bill. That was $10.59. We do only pay for one screen. Another thing that came out was for sinking funds. We did pay a medical bill this day, so I will talk about sinking funds and stuff later, right after we check in for this view, for this monthly view. But on the 10th, we had several expenses this day, and this is the key for eating out. Is this orange color, groceries is this dark blue, gas is pink, then we have this peach for allowance and so on. But this is the key that I usually like to have every month. It changes, and it's just really fun for me at the beginning of every month to kind of pick the different category colors. On the 10th, we had one purchase for Kung Fu tea. We ended up getting some boba. This is more than we've normally spent at Kung Fu tea. We usually just get like 2 drinks, but we ended up getting some with no ice to bring home, just the drinks itself. But that was $22 at Kung Fu tea. We definitely are spending a little bit more heavily this month for eating out categories, but it is what it is. But we have gas for this day, which was $39. we ended up refilling. I know that we were going to spend a little bit more money on gas for these next few months because it's like the holiday seasons, but I feel like we've been getting gas a lot this month. But that was $39 for gas. Then of course we ended up getting Chipotle again. I think this was one of the last times we got Chipotle though, but still in my lifetime, this last few months has definitely been the most Chipotle I've ever eaten, like ever. But that was $10. Me and my husband usually just get a bowl and we share it because it's so much food. That was Chipotle, $10. And then we also ended up spending some money on groceries. We got some food from Wegmans. We ended up grocery shopping quite a bit these last couple of weeks, like little splurts here and there, and then we ended up restocking because we were going through a lot of our frozen like meats and stuff. We like to get foods in bulk and then we freeze it, so it's just easier for us, and we were running low on a lot of things. So this was just one of their first little sessions of Wegmans for $50. Then we had a couple more bills that came out on the 11th. One of them is for Verizon. We spent or paid our bill for $177.79. That is for a phone plan for 2 of our phone devices, and we still have a little bit that we owe for both of our phones. There's no interest, so I never really thought of paying them off. I believe they'll be paid off by summertime of next year, and then it'll drop to like $150 or something. I have to actually double check this because like when this came out and I wrote it down because I wanted to start tracking it in here, I really do want to look into this a little bit more. I have a new phone stand I'm testing, so I'm hoping that it's not like shaky too. So I guess we'll have to find out when I edit this video. The other one is a little bit hard to set up because I moved the desk in the corner, but I'm definitely getting sidetracked. Okay, what was the next thing? All right, so we had HOA that came out as well. That was $80.66. This has been the amount since we've moved in here into our home, and I'm really happy about that. But our mortgage amount actually ended up going up, so I will talk about that when we check in for that payment. Is this like really shaky? Okay, I think I keep getting distracted now because I think this stand is extremely shaky. But anyway, the next thing was on the 12th, we had another bill that came out for this day, and this was for student loans. Student loans for my student loans ended up coming out this day. I always have troubles putting this down because there's no line on the side, but student loans, feels so weird to have a payment, but our payment is $171.35. We did not sign up for like the save program or anything. Whatever default one that we were placed into like prior, I just kind of left it like that because I do hope to pay off all of our student loans in the next few years. So I kind of just left it as is, especially because the minimum payment or the monthly payment kind of works for us. So I just didn't want to touch it and mess it up. But that was one of the bills that came out. And then we also got Dunkin' Donuts for this day, which was $13. And I wanted to try their chai, their vanilla chai. I used to like love that drink so much, but I feel like I have not been able to find a Dunkin' Donuts that made it the same way from what I was used to. So it just didn't taste that good, honestly. So I'm still definitely hooked on like caramel apple spices, but I did calm down. We haven't been getting Starbucks like that at all. So the next thing that we got was, we spent from our little baby category. We got our baby another stuffy, which is like the little security blankets with the little toy or the head on top of it. It's like her favorite thing ever. Like she sleeps with them every single night. Like she cuddles them, she drags them around the house. It's like the cutest thing. So we got her another one of those, and I think some more sippy cups, but that was $18 from Amazon. And then we also got some groceries from Target this day, and that was $35. We got 2 things of groceries, one from Target and then one from Wegmans. I realized I probably should have just put them on the same little label because now it's gonna be spilling into the box above, but that doesn't really bother me, honestly. But that is what we spent on the 12th. Nothing from our little categories over here on the 13th, and then on the 14th it was actually the same, so nothing on the 14th either. All right, nice. So it looks like we do have some none spent that I want to put. This was for the following week, so I just didn't pay attention to the dates when I wrote this, but I am going to put down some of our none spent stickers, which is to kind of symbolize the days that we did not spend anything, which is very good. So we have 3 in total for this week. I keep debating whether or not I want to mark bills as a none spent, but I feel like for this, I have no space here. To be honest, just to make it easy, I think I'm just going to not mark that as an unspent, especially because like Netflix, technically we could cancel it and then not have this bill. Just to make it easy, I am not going to use these as unspent stickers, which kind of sucks, but at the same time it makes it a little bit more challenging, so I guess that works. We'll just roll with it and see how we like it for this month. But for this week we have 3 unspent. These bills already came out, so Netflix, Verizon, and student loans. And I just like to just kind of check them off in here too. So we have Netflix, Verizon, phone bill, and then my student loans that came out. And then just to write down the actual amount, Verizon was $177.79. Student loans was $171.35. which is nice. And then Netflix is a fixed amount, so Netflix, it didn't vary at all. But let's go ahead and move on to checking in. But I actually want to talk about our sinking funds real quick. And then before I do, I wanted to mention some freebies that started going out, and they were for, it's like a monthly challenge. I started sending them out for orders of $15 or more because I want to test them, because I am planning on having one every single month for the year 2024. And most likely for the entire year of 2024, all of the little challenges every single month is going to equal to $1,000 saved if completed. But this year is almost over, but I still wanted to just start playing with them and sending them out. So in the last several orders, some of you guys might have received some challenges for November and December. But when I was testing them, I realized that these are oops. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I kept it as January challenge when it should say November challenge and December challenge. So some of you guys have the oops ones, and after I noticed it, some of you guys have like the fixed version. I don't want to waste them, so I'm still going to be sending them out. For me, I'm going to be using the oops ones. I'm just going to be whiting out the month and just whiting out the challenge portion so it doesn't bother me. But these are what it looks like. So essentially, after laying down the box down here, let me just show you guys one as a reference, for example. So for November, actually, I want to see how it fits in here, because I love like breaking this up into sections. So I kind of want to see how this fits. So for November's challenge is if you complete this set, which is 5 different numbers of saving it, then the total will be save 5 amounts for a total of $85 saved. You guys might see that there's corresponding numbers. They're really light inside of the boxes, so it doesn't like peek through, but there's $10, 10, 13, 13, 17, 17, 20, 20, 25, 25. So essentially, as it's saved, as the month goes on, per week or per like a couple times a week, or however you guys want to do it. Let's say we just saved $10, then I will go ahead and put that $10 in there. And same with like, let's say we just saved $25 from a category, then I'll put the $25. Let's say we're doing it per week. This week I want to save 13. We'll put the little 13 in there, and then once it's all completed, we'll just kind of have them in there. And then 17. And then let me actually, this is not January, this is gonna be for November, so I have to white that out. But I left it where it's a total save to fill in the amount, because let's say this particular month we couldn't save all 5. We saved just the 10, 13, 25, and $20. So we'll be able to put the total in here will be $68 that we were saved, since we couldn't save that extra $17. But if we're able to save all of the amounts, which is what the goal will be, or the challenge will be every month, is to save everything, then we will be able to put the full $85 in there, which will be fantastic. So this is kind of what those challenges are looking like, and I'm really excited for it. I think they're like adorable. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. I don't have one for October. I just thought that since the month was already over, then there was no point of me having one for October. But the ones for November is the little gingerbreads, and then for December it's going to be these little ornaments, which is really cute. So every month is going to be a different icon, and then every month is going to be a different amount to save too. Yeah, those are the little freebies that are coming out. So if some of you guys get them and you guys are like, what is this? That is what that's going to be. I really wanted to have another challenge in here because I do really enjoy having little challenges every month. So that is what those look like. But let's actually continue on with our check-in. So we're doing our weekly check-in. This is a spread that we use to balance out our monthly view for our daily categories, which is these categories. The ones that we budget for: eating out, groceries, gas allowance, pups, and baby. These are those specific categories that we use this spread for. And the reason why is because those categories we use day in and day out. We use those the most. We will balance out the other categories too, but we're going to start with this one. Alrighty, so I just wrote the categories down as usually, so let's go ahead and see how much we spent from each one. You guys know I like to do the one-off ones, so nothing was spent from allowance, so we're going to just put a dash. For pups and bean, which is this purple color, we have one that was $18 that was spent. And this is how my brain works. This is easier for me to do it this way. And then gas, we had one that was $39 that was spent. So gas, $39. Then we have the other ones that we usually spend from quite a bit. So let's do groceries first. So groceries, we have $50. What did I do? 50 plus 42. There we go, plus 35. And that is $127 that was spent from our grocery categories. 127. Okay, so next one is for eating out. We spent $13. Then we spent $10 and $22. So the total is $45 that was spent from our eating out, which is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. Oh, and HOA also came out too. I almost forgot about HOA. It's a visual thing. I really like to just check them off as the month goes and the bills come out, so I can see if we're missing any. A lot of things that I do is because my memory is so horrible. I need things to be easily viewed. $45 is how much we spent from eating out. Now let's calculate how much we have for the remaining weeks. So week 1's check-in, we ended with $233. So for week 2, we spent $45. So minus 45 means we have $188 remaining. Next, for groceries, we had $367. We spent $127. It means we have $240 remaining. Gas, we had $123 minus 39. $84 remaining. For allowance, we did not spend anything, which means we still have that $75. Then for pups and bean, we have $75 minus the $18 spent is $57 remaining for that category. Okay, so we're looking good. Now let's talk about our sinking funds before we balance out our checking accounts. So for our sinking funds, we had quite a bit that came out, and so many medical bills, and unfortunately I did not really see a lot of these bills coming. So we're super negative for our medical category, which means the following months we're gonna have to really stuff that category a lot to replenish. We had 3 medical bills. So the first medical bill is $319. This was for the first trimester screening with like the genetic testing and everything like that. So that was $319 that we had to pay. I rounded up because it was $318.28, but I did just round up because you guys know I like whole numbers. That was $319. The second one is when our baby got sick a couple months ago. Some of you guys might know, some of you guys might not, but when she got sick, we took her to the pediatrics a lot just to get blood work and checked up, and because it was her first time getting sick, so we freaked out a lot. It's her first baby, so that was $95 for those bills. And then for the genetic screening and everything, also the gender testing, like the one that kind of packages everything into it together, we did that test. The first time around for our first baby, it was like $99, but for this time around, I think they changed it or whatever. It's like goes through insurance now. So for this second baby, it was $196. So these two were from the same appointments. One of them was from like the actual facility when they were doing like the ultrasound and like the measurements. This one was for the blood work. Yes, so that was a lot of bills, and there's more medical bills coming too. I don't miss the medical bills, but it's definitely something that has to be done. I hope that this kind of helps, because for our first baby, I tried to get an idea of how much it would cost for a baby, because it just varies so much what people pay out of pocket. But for our first baby, I believe the total was around $3,500 maybe, at most $4,000. This time around is going to be different since our baby will be born in a new year. So our insurance deductibles, everything is going to restart again. So I'm not sure how much it's going to cost this time around, but you guys will be here with me and I'll definitely let you guys know. But now we have talked about our sinking funds that came out. Let's go ahead and check in for our checking accounts. So for our checking accounts, just real briefly, I'm just going to show you guys my overview that I show you guys every single week. I will have videos linked below talking about how I set up our checking accounts and saving accounts, because we are cashless budgeters, how they all intertwine with each other, how we kind of navigate them and do transactions and pay our credit card and everything, because this is our bread and butter for our budgeting, especially since we don't use cash. It's very important for me to have everything categorized, since this is the best way for us to have a handle on our accounts. I know some people definitely do it differently, but this is just how we like to do it. But if you guys are curious about how they're set up and everything, those videos will be linked below and they'll be really in depth. I think one is a little bit more of a review, and the second one is like the nitty-gritty of how we set it up and how they all kind of work with each other type of deal. But the last time I talked to you guys, in our short-term savings, where we usually have our money that comes in per the month, we had $2,575.01. That was the end amount after we got our first paycheck. Since then, we did get 2 additional paychecks. My husband's paycheck, he transferred $1,250, and then I also got another paycheck. So that was another $1,500. We used to put it to the penny in here because we are hourly paid, so it does fluctuate every single paycheck, sometimes by the dollar, by the penny, depending on if we did overtime. I did share with you guys my paycheck. I do keep like a little bit of it to myself, which is usually like $40, $50, or whatever it is, so I can save up over time if me and my husband want to buy each other things. My husband's, I do still keep his private. Whatever additional that comes in, I do just put that in our savings account, or long-term savings, the one that we have at Ally, which is tracked with this tracker on this side. We do have 2 saving accounts in total. Our long-term savings is with a different institution, but that is what the 2 additional paychecks look like. Since then, we transferred our paychecks into this account, because anything that comes in for this current month is our budget for the next month. We have a budget for this whole quarter of $5,000 for October's, November's, and December's budget. We try to just have every month's bills with everything combined, $5,000. Every paycheck that we get for the month of October, we just have it in this short-term account. So when November rolls around, we already have those funds at the beginning of the month. It just really has been working out for us, because I found it really hard for me to kind of figure out what bills came out, and if like the paycheck that comes in, would it cover it, or would it come in time. For me, I just like to budget on a monthly basis versus like a bi-weekly, weekly basis. I might one day try to see how it goes, because I have not tried in a very long time. But as of right now, ever since we started budgeting monthly, it's just been so nice. Last time we had this amount when we checked in for week 1. Since then, we had 2 paychecks. So one of them was $1,250, and then the last one was $1,500. So this is currently how much we have in this account. So I just want to show you guys how those numbers added up together. So that is currently how much is in here. We still have one more paycheck for the month, but we are going to be doing a debt payment as well, and I'm going to be doing that with you guys, so you guys will see some of the extra funds that we have in this account is going to be going towards our debt. But we'll talk about that more in that video. So currently in this short-term savings account, we have $5,325.01. It looks like we didn't get our little interest in here yet, but that is what it's looking like. Now to balance out our other categories. This weekly balance is what we use to balance out our second checking account. This second checking account is what we use to hold all the funds for like our daily expenses, our day-to-day expenses, which is these categories that we budgeted together. Our bills, which is all of our variable and fixed bills that we budgeted together as well, this whole section. And also all of our sinking funds money, which is what we set up together as well. So we're going to balance out this checking accounts. I have all of these categories shoved into one checking account because it just works for us. I know at one point I wanted to have a separate checking account for each one, but ever since I started just shoving them in one, I kind of got used to it. So now I'm just used to having them all in one checking account. But it might be easier to have them separately. I'm not sure. I have not tried yet. I might one day, but for right now, they're all just still stored in the same category. And this is just a spread that really helps me keep that checking account balanced. So we have our daily categories, our bills, and then our sinking funds. Those are really the only categories I really track for every single month. But the starting amounts was what we ended with the previous week. I guess for the heck of it, I'll just write it. I usually don't. But then again, I feel like I have been the last few times, so I don't know. This is what we ended with at the end of week 1's check-in. So let's go ahead and calculate. So for our daily, which is what we just calculated for, which is these 5 categories, the ones that we budgeted at the beginning of the month, these 5 categories, we spent quite a bit. So let's add them up together. We spent 45 plus 127 plus 39 plus $18. So that in total we spent $229 from this category. Next we have bills, and we already know that we had a good amount of bills that came out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just track them down. It looks like only one of them came out of credit cards too, so we'll just remember that. But Netflix was $10.59. Then we have HOA, $8.66. Mobile was $177.79 plus $171.35. So the total that came out for bills for this second week's check-in is $475.04. Okay, I'm not sure how I added it the first time. I'm sure when I go and view the footage when I'm editing, I'll see it. But it's actually $440.39 after adding up those 4 bills that came out. I'm honestly very curious to edit the video so I can see what I did and how I added it up. But that is the bills that came out for this week, for the week 2's check-in. And then for sinking funds, we had so much come out. So let's go ahead and add those up as well. So first one is $319 plus the $95 plus $196. And then we have an additional $59. And I realized I never talked about this. For the $59, I ended up changing, well, okay, I have not yet, but Christmas category, I ended up changing it to the name holiday because I actually want to just use this for all holidays. Because I know for Thanksgiving, we're going to be spending some money. Thanksgiving meal, for Halloween, we want to get some like candy and stuff. So I just want this to be kind of like the universal holiday category for all holidays throughout the year. If we need a little extra cash, we can grab it from here. So that's no longer going to be just strictly Christmas. But I wanted to actually talk about that and I forgot to. But we spent $59 for some of the kiddos. Dustin has a lot of younger cousins, so we knocked out like 5 of the kids by getting them a little, like their little like wallets with a little keychain on it with some like stickers and like a sticker roll. And if I remember when it finally comes in the mail, I will show you guys. But that is what we spent from sinking funds for this week, $669, which is crazy from all the medical bills. So now that we have that categorized, now let's go ahead and balance out this checking account. So at first, we started for this week, $873 for our daily minus $229. $644. For bills, we had $31.75 minus $440.39 for bills. That means we still have $2,734.61 for bills for the rest of the month. And that is going to fly because our mortgage is coming out soon. But the last thing is $2,855 for sinking funds we started with. Then we spent $669 this week. That is $2,186 that we have left over in here. So now let's talk about transfers. So since we pay with everything with our credit card, we owe our credit card because we still have a lot of this cash in our category. All of our medical bills we even paid with credit card because there was no penalty, so might as well get that 2% cash back. I think the only thing that came out of our checking accounts, oh wait, it was 3 of these bills. So the only bill that came out of our credit card was the $10.59. Everything else, mobile, student loans, HOA, they all came out of our checking account. So that money, the institutions already got their money. They already took that money physically out of our checking account. The only one that we still owe our credit card for was the $10.59 that came out of there. It might be easier to have all bills hooked up to the checking account because it might simplify it, not having to track down or remember which one comes out of credit cards. But for us, we just like to have that 2% cash back because like we're paying the bill anyway every month. For us, it's worth it. If we could have all bills hooked up, we would. But a lot of these institutions charge a fee or a penalty or whatever it is to hook up a credit card. Our mortgage got sold to another institution, so I think we're going to call them and see if it's the same for them, because this would be amazing if we could hook up our mortgage to our credit card to get that 2% cash back every month. That would be lovely, but I don't know, so I think we're going to call and find out because it did just get sold this past month. So anyway, so now that we know that the only one that came out of credit cards that we still owe is $10.59. So let me just like transfer that real quick. And I'm going to transfer the $10.59 from here to our primary checking real quick, and I'll be right back. Oh, and if you guys are new, the reason why I do that is because our primary checking account, this is what I use to fund all outgoing money. So paying our credit card, making like a random payment to our student loans, or maybe like a wire transfer or whatever it is that's outgoing money. I like to do it from this account because whatever money is in here, I don't really think about it anymore because it's going towards something. In the past, I would forget that I made a payment and I would think that I had extra money when I didn't. So this has been really convenient for us. Definitely don't have to do that, but that's what this is set up like. Everything else for the daily expenses, like the eating out, groceries, gas allowance, pups, all of it came out of credit cards. Same with sinking funds. All of these medical bills, holiday, came out of credit card. That means we owe our credit card that money. So that's $229, and then plus that $669. We already transferred that one bill that came out of credit card, so we don't have to worry about that. But these two categories, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so now that that's all transferred over, let me show you guys how much, or tell you guys how much is in this checking account right now. And I like to just put everything in here because it's easier for me versus showing like the app and like partial bank account numbers or anything by accident on the internet. So that's kind of why I do it this way. But in the second checking account, the amount that's currently in here is $5,564.61. So let me see what this equates to. And it should match this number. They should match. So 644 plus 2734, 61 plus 2186 equals 5564. Yes, and it matches perfectly, which is amazing. We always love when it matches. I feel like when I first started budgeting on camera, I used to mess up all the time, but I don't want to jinx myself, but that's, we're looking good so far. But this is how much is currently in this short-term savings account. And then this is how much is currently in the second checking account. So we won't touch bases with this again until our week 3 check-in. But just to tell you guys, let me see. So we transferred and spent this amount. So for example, last week we ended with 6903. Then we spent 209 minus 440, 39 minus 669. Okay, looks fabulous. So that is actually going to be it for this check-in. The check-in was actually a lot longer than I thought it was, so I think I'm going to just have to edit this to try to get it up for you guys tomorrow because I know I'm definitely behind. Yes, thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, please do definitely let me know, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.